You're playing touch butt with that dork in the park.
Mike Perry recently teamed up for a sparring session with former UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland, something the BKFC star had been eager to arrange for some time. Perry shared insights about the experience in an interview with MMA Fighting. We discussed it a few times and I went out of my way to make it happen, Perry said. I traveled to Vegas for it. Sean's obviously a big name and Platinum has his own reputation, but I chose to make the effort. I messaged him, we connected, and he's such a cool guy. Sean was even trying to get me to ride dirt bikes or shoot guns out in the Vegas desert, but I was tight on time. I just said, "You guys sparring at 10 a.m. that day? All right, I'll show up." Mike Perry reflects on sparring with UFC champ Sean Strickland. Perry landed some solid shots on Strickland during their session, but admitted he wasn't in peak condition and found Strickland's size challenging. The Las Vegas altitude also took a toll. I got there, did some warm-ups, sparred around with another guy, then went with Sean, who's huge by the way, Perry said. He's got at least 35 pounds on me. It was great to feel his style and those punches up close. I had to use that platinum pressure to even get near him and land anything. Sean's super defensive. Blocking his shots or taking some on the forehead can wear you down fast, especially when I wasn't in top shape and dealing with the Vegas elevation. I just showed up and jumped into a 5-minute round with him. Surprisingly, footage of Perry and Strickland's sparring session drew some backlash online. Perry, no stranger to criticism, shrugged it off. Most people wouldn't last 5 minutes with Sean, and he's willing to work with you, Perry said. Those punches I ate and rolled off would have floored a lot of the keyboard warriors in the comments. I wanted to put on a show and share the experience. Sparring Sean was awesome. I respect his skills. If I had the cardio for 3 5-minute rounds with him, that pressure of me eating his shots would exhaust anyone. I don't care who they are. Sean will finish you and so will I. So stop hating. I'm out here building people up and elevating. Francis Ngannou's coach, Eric Nixick, recently stirred up excitement in the MMA community by suggesting there's a possibility Ngannou could return to the UFC. With enough time having passed, I'd love to see them repair that relationship and bring Francis back to compete in the UFC, Nixick told Home of Fight. From Francis' perspective, it's more about business than ego. His drive isn't just money, it's about competition, and the UFC has the best competition. Nixick has since clarified those remarks. He emphasized that while Ngannou remains open to major opportunities, including a potential UFC return, his current PFL contract may pose significant obstacles. It was just 2 fans of the sport, me and Dan Tom, geeking out about the state of the heavyweight division, Nixick explained on YouTube, referencing his Home of Fight interview. Francis wants to keep his options open, but I don't know the specifics of his PFL deal. He might not even be free to negotiate with anyone else, I'm not sure. I wasn't speaking for Francis or as his coach. This was just us as fans saying, man, wouldn't it be awesome to see this? At this point, a Francis Ngannou UFC comeback seems highly unlikely. Still, in MMA, you never say never. Following his submission victory over Sean O'Malley at UFC 316, bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili returned to his native Georgia. In a recent viral video, Dvalishvili was seen powerfully swimming upstream in a local river, showcasing his remarkable endurance. Fans were quick to highlight his seemingly inexhaustible stamina. Watch the video yourself and share your thoughts below. Could you keep up with Merab's upstream swim? Rising UFC middleweight Joe Pyfer has raised concerns about Joe Rogan's commentary following his performance at UFC 316 last weekend. For years, Pyfer has been viewed as a standout prospect in the UFC's middleweight division thanks to his imposing size, charismatic personality, and devastating power. Despite a setback against Jack Hermanson, he has bounced back impressively with his latest showing marking a career highlight. Pyfer faced UFC veteran Kelvin Gastelum and looked largely dominant throughout the bout. He even dropped the former interim title challenger at one point, with some arguing he was close to securing a stoppage. Ultimately, he earned a unanimous decision victory, marking the most significant win of his career so far. However, in a recent interview, Pyfer expressed frustration with the UFC 316 commentary team's take on his performance. "They were a bit tough on me," Pyfer said on the Ariel Helwani show. "Joe Rogan in particular was pretty critical. I feel like the expectations for me are sky high, so if I don't get a highlight reel knockout, people start saying, oh, if he wants to face top guys, he needs to do this or that. Look, Abusmagomedov fought Michel Pereira when he was 2-2 in the UFC and jumped to number 1, 11th in the rankings. You can go from unranked to top tier in one fight. I'll get those big matchups. People need to chill. I think the commentary didn't fully reflect the fight. It wasn't close. I was never in any real danger." Chael Sonnen recently shed light on the health challenges facing former UFC fighter Ben Askren. It has become widely known that Askren is grappling with a serious medical issue. Initially hospitalized for what was thought to be a staph infection, it was later revealed he was battling pneumonia. Since the news broke, the MMA community has rallied around Askren and his family with an outpouring of support. Conflicting reports have circulated about his current status. Daniel Cormier initially stated that Askren was home, but later clarified that he meant back in Wisconsin, not Nevada, where Askren was first treated. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, Chael Sonnen provided an update on Askren's condition, echoing much of what Cormier shared. "The family's top priority was getting Ben from Nevada to Wisconsin," Sonnen said. "Geographically, if this were to be the end, they wanted him to be in Wisconsin." Sonnen went on to explain that Askren's condition has escalated to the point of needing a lung transplant due to a hole in his lung. "From what I've been told, they don't yet know how or why the hole developed," Sonnen added. While the family is navigating that, they successfully moved Ben from Nevada to Wisconsin. "I had a brief conversation with Ben's wife, Amy," Sonnen continued. "She made it clear that they're not looking for a lot of back and forth right now, but they deeply appreciate everyone's prayers and positive thoughts." That's it for all the MMA news for today. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching.